Now we'll be learning about styles, and it is going to change everything about the workflow. Working as a professional using InDesign on a daily basis in project. Without style, you won't be able to survive. These are the best time-saving features, and every professional in InDesign has to know how to work with styles. Even if you just use the basic feature, you will be able to save a lot of time. But you will see as we go ahead in the next chapter, most of the features I'll mention will rely on styles. So, about the outline of this style, I will show you everything that you need as a foundation, but this is a turning point where we'll be stop talking about styles, and I'll teach as much as possible without making it too much confusing. But then to practice and to really understand how to work with them, I will be showing you about more advanced techniques relying on styles. So the mastery on styles is crucial skill for every InDesign user, and once you understand how to work with them, you will be able to use the styles in Photoshop and Illustrator as well. Although it's less important there, the way you set them up, and they use them exactly the same. So first of all, we would like to have this styles exercise. I have 4 pages here prepared to make with some images and icons, and we can work with, and you can imagine this to be a catalog about this destination, showing the different sites and things to do. But of course, the copy here is still just a placeholder text, and the only thing that I added myself are the headings, and I hid some words in the paragraph which we will be relying on and we'll be using for demonstration for working with styles. Now this is just a draft, so the copy is not edited at all, and there is no formatting applied to it. Also, the images are not final, so we're going to refine this design and make it look much better. We will be using this document for the whole chapter, and we'll be tweaking and refining things. And the reason I decided to not use something else, because I already have styles in those, and which will make it difficult to understand how to really work with them. So if we check out the character styles, paragraph styles, and object styles here, if you don't have it, you can access them from Windows menu as well. From within the styles section, you'll find these, and you can dock it up them like so. We'll be creating each one of these categories as we go ahead. So the main reason we work and create style is to be able to save time and quickly apply the same formatting on the text frames and the image frames. So the consistency is the key, and with styles we can have a consistent look in the whole document, and you will save time not only by reapplying styles but by being able to update style definitions. We'll be creating a ripple effect throughout the document, and it will update everything automatically. Now before I go any further, I'll just show a very simple example. I'll just zoom in a bit. I'm going to add a style for the highlighting words. Here I'm going to select this word, and let's just change this to bold. And I'm going to go ahead and maybe change the color as well, and let's say I'm going to set to cyan. Also, let's say this is the highlighted text that we would like to use it for emphasis. So wherever this important words appearing in the article or in this magazine, we want the same exact styling to be used. Now, instead of going through one by one and applying the same thing again and again, on the very first instance, we can define a style based on this. Now, smaller the style type is character style, which allows you to save the formatting and can be applied on even the smallest unit of one single character. So if I have this word selected, I can go on this icon here, character style, or under character formatting, and choose this option here, and I can also hold an Alt key and click on this new style icon. So these are different ways you can save a new character styles. I'm just going to use this icon. So now again I hold Alt key and click here. And that is going to show me a dialog box with the settings. If I clicked it without Alt, it will just create a new style right there. So if you use the panel menu or the other drop down from the options bar, you get this automatically. So no keyboard shortcuts necessary. But once you get this dialog box comes up, we first will name our style. It's very important to keep naming your styles, because that way you will be able to come back to the document and know exactly which styles were used for a specific reason. So this style is used for highlighting, and so the name would be perfect highlighting. And then I can double check here in the style settings. If I have something else within here, so it is bold and it has maybe character color here set. The color is cyan, and now at this point I'll be able to go through the settings and I could add more formatting options, like if I wanted to give all capitals. Let's go ahead here. Let's give all caps here. And if I check the preview on, you won't be able to see the update right there. The reason is because under the general section, apply to style selection is off. And once I enable this, you'll be able to see the update right there, which you can also consider as a prototype for our style. Once you apply the selection is on, and now the changes that I added here, like all caps, will also show up here in the style settings. Now I'm not going to actually include this. I will just go ahead and remove that and set it back to normal. But it's best case just to ignore this, which will ignore all these settings with respect to the case. Another important option that we have at the bottom here is add to CC library. Now that's something you can use in case this is a formatting you will be using in a multiple documents. So we'll come back to this at the later, but for now I'm going to just keep it turned off, and the preview option will be on. Of course, we can see the changes while we're refining our styles. So let's keep that on and make sure that the apply style selection is on. This one. And then we're ready with that. We can give OK. So that we have saved our character style. You should be able to see that in the character styles panel. Now, if you don't have this panel, you can go to the Windows Styles. Again, you can get it from here, and you can use the shortcut Shift 11. I actually prefer to have these panels here and to be able to see them all at once. So my suggestion is to drag them out and set them here. You can just drag them out, and you can set separate character style panels, and you can dock them like so. You can hide this panel and make this smaller to save spaces maybe. Yeah, you can work this way. It's better when you're working with the character styles or anything with respect to styles. That's actually something I would normally do. As you can see now, wherever the text is selected in this, you'll immediately see the character style here. So if I click on another word, Let's zoom in a bit. Okay. So let's just see if I click on another word, and it will say none here. It will immediately, if I click here, it will immediately highlight. Of course, this is something you can do in the options bar, but by having all three panels in three side visible helps me really keep an eye on everything. And once you start using styles, especially once you have a complex setup of styles, things can get out of hand very easily and very quickly. So it's like a great power comes with great responsibility once you use this feature. You have to be very careful and really keep an eye on what's happening. So now that we have this style, let's see what we can do with it. If I select another word, and maybe two words or maybe multiple words, I can quickly apply the style either by clicking here on the character styles panels, or also I can change the style from the drop down here. So I can set it back to none if I want to remove the styling, or choose highlight again. Now let me move on to another text frame. I'm going to highlight another word, choosing highlight. Let's just say this word. Now I won't go through the whole document because you can imagine it is easy to apply formatting wherever you want the selection to have. But what's important is how we make changes to our style definition. So if I zoom back closer to a little bit, I have one of these words selected, and it doesn't even have to be original one. We just used as a prototype. Let's just say I have this selected, and we had a discussion with our creative team, and we decided not to use the blue and instead use red. So if I change the color to red here, let's just say change the color to red. You will see that the rest of the highlighted words are still blue or cyan. So how is it still working? So while I change this word, you have noticed that I changed in the highlighting, there is a plus after. That means there is a local override on the selection. If I right click on the style, I have a couple of options. First of all, I can apply these highlighting, which means it would remove any changes and go back to the way the style it was saved. Or I can choose redefine style, which means that based on the changes that I applied here, all the instances will be immediately updated with this new style. Because the style definition will change if I choose that one. Notice how all the other instances will be changed. Here you notice that this changed now, and the plus sign is gone. Of course, you don't have to be making these changes within your copy. What I like to do is actually go to the edit style definition, just give undo on this action, just Control Z, right click, and whenever I do that, I'd make sure that I don't have anything selected. But because in this case you have accidentally selected, let's say, a whole text frame like this, and if you click on style, it will be applying throughout the whole frame. Now that's something you want to be definitely avoiding, and so I'm going to undo the last step. And I'm going to use shortcut Control Shift A to make sure that everything is unselected. Then I can double click on the highlight character style. Or if you want to be 100% sure or 200% sure that you're not messing up anything, instead you can just double click and you can just right click, choose edit, highlighting. And that's even safer way to update the style. So when I do that, I will get back to the definition and maybe see go into basic character formats. Now instead of bold, I can choose italic. And now once I selected that, we will see our words using highlight style are updated. So if I want, let's say, an underline, I can add that as well. Let's go here, underline. And if I want to change the color, I would just go to the character color and then change the color, maybe to red. Or I can look for a darker blue here. I'm not going to go through all the settings because here most of them are quite self-explanatory, and we will be using the character styles for the rest of this. So we'll be covering more features, but what's important is to prepare where I'm going to show you the paragraph styles. Then I will show you the object styles. So before we move any further ahead, I would make sure you understand what's the difference between them and how they're connecting with each other. Because what I showed you about the character styles, which is the core concept of working with styles in general, so other two categories will be exactly the same way. You define a style and then you keep using it, which allows you to have consistency throughout the document, and you will be able to change all the instances at once by updating your style definition. That's the key. But another concept is that we have to understand that this is the hierarchy here. You need to know how they are related to each other. The reason I started with character styles and explaining them first, because they are the smallest units in this system. They are the foot soldiers and they are used for small tasks. Then you have the captains, the paragraph styles. They will be able to call upon and order character styles to do certain tasks. And of course, paragraph styles themselves will be able to format paragraphs. The only limitation of them compared to character style is that they can be applied on full paragraph and not smaller units of text, and that they would have more options compared to character styles, and you will be seeing that further. So paragraph styles are a bigger group and they can host multiple character styles inside them. And the next step is the object style, which is the biggest group. An object style can call upon and order multiple paragraph styles. So they are considered as generals. They can order a lot of other people, so multiple captains and then loads of foot soldiers. So once we get to the end, we will make sure of much sense we will remember and always refer back to the panels and understand the connection between the styles. Paragraph styles is probably the most crucial category out of all the styles in InDesign, and you can almost consider them as the backbone of your documents. Ideally, you would want all your copy in every InDesign document to be using paragraph styles. And just like everything else in graphic design, is generally planning is crucial. So you really need to think about what you will need for a document like for this magazine. I know that I have titles or headings, and then I will have an introduction paragraph followed by the rest of the copy. And the same style I would like to repeat for all these destinations that I have in this example document. So I will walk you through how I set up 3 paragraph styles. Let me just select this text frame and zoom in a little bit bigger. Here I can double click and highlight these text and choose what font to work with. And it doesn't really matter what exact style you use as long as you understand the concept and the connection between the features. So we'll just go to this font and we'll choose Bibis. And that's going to be my heading. I'm going to increase the size of it something like this. So Pebbles. Okay. So something like this. And you can easily find the font and install in your computer if you want. And one another thing is I want to make sure, as I'm going to add a space after this, that will have to be 3 millimeters, 3, or let me just set it to 4 millimeters. And by the way, whenever you use paragraph controls, you don't have to have whole paragraph selected. You can just simply increase it by, obviously InDesign will know and where the paragraph ends. So if I just press W, you can see that there is a paragraph break here, but instead of adding an empty line break, I'm using the space after option, which we discussed earlier. And that's something you always would avoid. So if you want to have spaces between paragraph, use the paragraph formatting options instead of pressing enter between the paragraphs. And that's something just you want to really avoid, these empty phantom paragraphs. So now that I have my heading in the place, I can save it as a paragraph style. Once again, I'll be able to do this from the options bar if I switch to paragraph formatting controls. Here. Or I could just use the paragraph style panel. And from here, I could click on that new paragraph style. And you'll see it will come a very similar dialog box to character styles. But notice that I have much more options, and these are the categories, and there's a lots of options under each of this. And now I'm going to go through all of these, and we'll be exploring more and more of these features as we go along. So for now, I would like to make a paragraph style. Select this option and make sure apply select style selection is turned on. Also preview option is on, and I'm going to type in here style name as heading. Before I save it, I just double click on this and going to go to the size now, and this font family should be Arial. Give OK. Increase the fonts a little bit. Okay. Just select this one here and there. Select new paragraph style, heading. Make sure that's turned on with character formats. Okay. Alright. So I can now click OK, just like we saved our character styles for highlighting words. Now we have heading paragraph style right here. So you can just apply this on, I can come down here, click on text frame, give heading. And here double click on the text frame, click here and give heading here. So it will apply. I don't even have to select the paragraph. As I mentioned already, it has to have click on the heading and see how it quickly and easily it will be applied. And if I want, I can also use the option bar to remove it set back to normal, or I can just go back here and give none. So I'm going to press escape or click away, then zoom out, control 0, and see how this looks like. I just want to show you that the paragraph style work exactly the same way as the character style. So if I want to amend them, I can click on the style and choose edit heading, and within there I can decide, let's say, make my text size a little bit bigger. So I can make it a little bigger, and you can immediately see that it is updating in the page. I'll probably set it to 26. I think it's a good size, and I will also change the color. So here I have the color option, text color. Okay, character color. And this is a very useful option. Instead of reducing the opacity in InDesign, what you can do is reduce the intensity of colors. So that is tint, which means that you will still have a completely solid full epic text. You simply have to reduce the intensity of the ink. So just shift click on these arrows and you will get this ink decrement by 10%. Felt like the black was a bit intense, so I can click on this, and with the other colors you can see it reduces the intensity as well. So I've been using the 70% tint on all the other colors. It will be more faded or muted, but stick to using black, which is at the moment at 70% gray. And then I'm going to click OK. Now let's add copy to the paragraph style. I'm going to select one of these paragraphs. So actually I will select all of them. And then I'm going to keep it Arial at 12 points. But I will increase the leading just a bit, maybe 16 points. And I will have a space after these paragraphs, maybe just 2 millimeters. Something like that. I think that is a little bit more easy to read. And so if I look at it as a whole page, we can compare the density of the text on the final story and the second one. You can tell immediately it's a little bit more easier to read and more inviting to read. Plus, let's not forget about hyphens. So I just don't want hyphenation. That's why I'm going to use the paragraph formatting. I'll just select all of these, paragraph formatting, and remove hyphenate. So now this is ready to be saved, and I will go to my paragraph styles panel. Click here, new paragraph style. I will call this copy. All these settings should be here. Letting hyphenation space after 2 mm. Yes, I'm happy with that. So now I'll just go ahead and click OK. And if I'm going to select the other 3 paragraphs here and then click on this copy, it will be immediately applied to this. I'll just move this around for later, so that we have enough space. We will be dealing with these icons later. I'm just going to increase the size of that slightly. Just double click on that and it will fit like so. I can also see that these are actually 2 separate paragraphs, so I will merge them together using backspace. And that way we have a little bit bigger second paragraph here and looks a little bit better. But I want to make sure that the first paragraph is different from the rest of the copy. So I could either add a drop cap or maybe the first line indent, but I wouldn't use too much differences because that could be a bit distracting and it's an overkill. But what I will do is select this first paragraph here, and I'm going to duplicate this style to Right click here, duplicate style, and I'm going to give this as intro copy. The only thing I need to change here is the drop cap, so I'm going to increase drop cap here, maybe just 2 lines. And it doesn't have to be very much dominant, but it looks good. And there is one last thing I want to make sure is turned on, is under the general setting you have this feature called based on. Now if I choose based on copy, then you will notice that here are style settings and a lot of features that wouldn't show up because I will rely on the copy paragraph style and will only capture the differences from that. So the only difference is actually the drop cap. All the rest of the formatting copy is the same. So that's what we use as original, and from which I created a duplicate, so you don't have to create duplicates. The based on feature is available for every paragraph style, and the key about this is that it will connect these two styles and it creates most like a parent-child connection between them. So the parent style is going to be the copy because my intro copy is based on that. So this is the intro copy and will behave as a child in this relationship. So let's just see what that means if I click on OK now. Now we have our intro copy style here. I'll just go ahead and select this paragraph and give intro copy. Now you see it immediately changes this to this. Let's just delete this word and make that as my first word, Q, so that we can see a little bit bigger character here. It's obvious that we have the same style in both of these stories. And then if I decide to change, let's say, the font of the copy, then I can go to the copy paragraph style, edit, and just give undo. I'll just make sure deselect that, right click on this, edit copy. You can go to the basic character formats. Let's just use a basic character format like Vardhana, VER, okay. And there, once I select that and click OK, not only the copy, the paragraphs will also update in the, and because intro copy is connected to the based on feature, the paragraph copy. So once again, let's just try this out. If I go back to the copy and go edit copy, basic character formats, I'll choose back Arial right now and go OK. So back to our regular Arial. Also we have few more options, like you can change the color and color to red, maybe blue, and all the changes will affect immediately to the intro copy style as well, which is based on this current one I'm working on, and only time it won't get affected if I go on and drop caps. If I increase the drop cap feature here, you don't see the difference because this one is first paragraph is overriding the specific value. So the parent style can override anything, and that is not specified differently in the child style. So I'm going to just change the font back to that, and it just fits better here. I'm going to click OK, and everything else should just update. And that's all about the paragraph style. Now we'll be looking up at the object style. As discussed earlier, object style stands on the top of the food chain in terms of styles in InDesign. So looking at this hierarchy of styles, Object style is one that can wrap the paragraph styles and the character styles inside it. The reason for that is because object style is usually applied on the whole frame, whether it is a text frame or an image frame. It goes on the frame itself. Unlike paragraph size, character styles will only be targeting on certain parts of the copy. So I'll be showing you with the object styles what can be used for and how they all connect together later on. So one thing I would like to have this in this document is I would like to have these icons closer to the copy, like so, and but obviously not overlapping it. Instead, with using the text wrap. So text wrap is something we've discussed already, and I'm going to quickly set up a wrap around text box. Click here and give text wrap. Okay, just quickly give here text wrap, and maybe a little bit of an offset of 1 millimeter or 2 probably, but in this case 1 is enough. So let's have a look. If I move it down here, it works probably fine. Or check if I move it on the side, how it looks that way. I'll probably keep it on the right side, and I'll make sure it's within the paragraph like this. Okay, so now within the paragraph. Alright. I want to quickly reapply these settings to other icons. So what should I do is save this as an object style or save the settings from this icon. Here, new object style. Or I could just go back here. I'll just move this. Okay, here I have an object style. Click here, new object style. And I can see this bunch of options along with this object style. Once again, I'll just keep this preview on, apply to style selection on, and I'll give this name as an icon. And then I'll probably just click OK. So now we'll be having this saved as a icon object style. Just click here, select this, click here. Just give undo one more time. Okay. This icon has no object style. Just apply icon here. So none has the style. Maybe the style didn't change at all. I'll just delete this. Delete. Select this. Give a text wrap. Again, 1 millimeter spacing, and I'm just gonna give a new object style icon. Just give OK, and there I have my object style with respect to this icon. And now I'll just move around here, bring this here and just click on this, and now I can immediately see it working. So that one is very quick and easy. Let's do another one. I'm just going to the next page. My pages panel will be here, I guess. Okay. Here I'll just do another one. I have this image here, so I would like to set up it similarly what we had previous example. I'm going to use a white stroke. Go ahead here, white stroke. bumping it up like 4 point. Then I will also add a drop shadow, and we'll go into this properties, and we'll bring down the distance maybe to 1 mm, increase the size a bit, and maybe bring down the opacity like so. 40 something is fine. 45 is fine maybe. And I'll click OK on based on how that looks. So if I like it, I can just go ahead and click and save it and think, but I can just increase the stroke a little bit, maybe. Okay. That looks quite nice, and I would like to make this as an object style. So I can select the object first and go to the new object style. And here I will name this as small image. And I'm going to go ahead and give OK. So we have 2 object styles, 3 paragraph styles, and 1 character style so far. But that's why we are on this page. I'm going to use this icon with that object styles icon. We can drag here. And I just noticed I just probably want the text wrap to always align to the text, or push the text only to left side of these icons. So I don't want to break it up and have a few words on the right side, because I really always use these icons on the right side. So it would make sense to do so. So if I want to amend or update an object style again, it's very similar to previous examples. I can just right click on this, edit icon. I can find the texture wrap option here, and I can choose to the right side or left side. And then I'm going to go ahead and give OK. If I go to the first page, I can see the update has been made and there is no change. If I go within, you can see there is no text coming up on the right side. Because these icons are already connected to the same style. So you will see no matter how far I move it on the left, it won't be any text showing up on the right side. So that's a useful thing to remember, and you can always update any of your styles. Also, I think on the last page we have a similar setup where we have an image like this. So I can have the other styles saved as a small image. Just click one click and you'll get the style like so. Also, once again, we can use the icon style, and you can now already see how fast and effective that is. Move it the wrong way. Just move it from the corners. Okay. So we haven't really applied the paragraph styles and the character styles throughout the document, but there's a reason why I'm holding back on them, and we will learn more about effective automation with the combination of all these styles that we created, and we'll be exploring that, how to use next style feature in paragraph styles and how to nest paragraph styles into an object style. Now we'll be looking at the next styles. That is one of the techniques that when it comes to the paragraph styles. Let's go back to the page number 1. Here, maybe here at page number 2. Next style is essentially that you can create a chain of paragraph styles and you can have them connected to each other. So on the second page, the copy is still default text and there is no styles assigned to it. I'm going to show you the power of this feature here. So first of all, what you need to do is find which style you want to start with. So in this case, that's our heading. So I'm going to go right click and edit heading. And here you have an option that is called next style. That's where you need to decide which one is the next paragraph style, which in our case is going to be the intro copy. I just simply select that and now I click OK. Now I'll go to the intro copy, in which the second one that should lead on to third one, which is the copy. Next style, and here I'll give copy. And go ahead and click OK. And then the copy itself, we edit it here, right click, edit copy, and this will stay as the same style, meaning that if there's any more than 3 paragraphs, the fourth one and the all of rest will just keep using the last style, which is the copy. But if I wanted to go back and create like a carousel or a repeating loop, I would be able to choose here heading again. So that is possible, well, but in this case I'm just going to keep it on the same style. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. I'll select the text here. I'll just give Command A or double click on everything. Click on here, apply heading, and then next style. So it's not enough to just simply apply it. We need to allow InDesign to create that chain that we set up. So if I choose this, you can notice quickly how it came up with the setup that we already added. All the 3 styles in the right order, and I'm going to do something that makes it even easier. So I'll go to the next page here. There's another way to make this setup. So here I'm going to create an object style for this frame. Just click here, new object style. It doesn't have to actually any special settings, just one that I created. Double click on it and you can rename it. Call it destination text frame. And what I need to do is simple one option that is called go to the paragraph styles. Here, go to this heading, choose a heading here. And then it will also allow to move and advance to the apply next style. So now these are set up, I can just go ahead and click OK. And this is my object style. I can use, and all I need to do is I have to select the frame and then I have to click on the destination text frame, and that's all done for me. So all the 3 paragraph styles are immediately reapplied, and obviously in the right order. So if I go to the next page again, I can just do it in one single step. Click and click. You can imagine how much time you can save with this, and that's not all you can do with styles. We'll be discussing more techniques that's called next nested styles and so much more. Now you can connect paragraph styles into a chain and then nest them into an object style. We saw exactly how we can connect the object style together with multiple paragraph styles inside it, but we haven't seen the relation between character styles and paragraph styles yet. So that's what I'm going to show, and that's what we normally call nesting. So one of these things I would like to change is to have the same font that I used on the heading for the drop cap, and maybe also use a different color for it. So if we want to do that, we can just go directly through the character styles, create a new style, double click on that, and I'll name this as a drop cap. Then I'm going to go to my basic character formats. I'm going to choose the Pebis font style for this. And if you don't have this one, you can choose any other font. It really doesn't matter as long as you understand how this works. And then from the character color, I will change this to red in this case. Maybe I'll just stick it to blue. Okay. So I'm going to click OK for now. And we have the character style for the drop cap. We can make sure that we don't have anything else selected. Now go to the intro copy and right click here and give edit intro copy. Here you can go to the drop cap and nesting style. Here you can see we can have the drop cap defined. We can go to drop caps and then we have nested style category as well. Here on the right, I will have to assign the drop cap as here the character style, and if I choose that, it will be immediately showing up, and I can increase this number of lines that I can choose for drop cap, or maybe characters slightly like that, and click OK. And of course this will be showing up in all the pages, as you can see. Since the drop cap is now dedicated its own character style, we can even do more with that. Now if I zoom in a little bit closer here, so we see that a little bit more spacing here is required. Now I can go to my drop cap character style, right click, edit drop cap. Going to the basic character formats, I can choose tracking, increase the tracking to maybe say 25 or maybe 70. Let's just try 75. That seems like a good amount, and it looks like it's a healthy space between the drop cap and the rest of the text. Now if I click OK, of course this has been updated in all the pages. Control 0, and yes, it has been updated through all the pages. Now there's another cool technique when you call upon a character style from within a paragraph style. In this case, we will be using our original highlight character style that we created in the beginning. So that we created using manually on certain words. Now I want to use that style to be used for every time wherever the word Dorset appears in my copy. So what I need to do is go to the copy paragraph style, right click, edit that, and go to the grep style option here. Here we can create a new grep style. Grep style is a new useful feature. We'll discuss it later. But for now, just simply click on new grep style and then choose the character style here. You can choose highlighting. And to the text, just type in here Dorset with a capital D. Dorset. Okay, so if I type it in here, means anytime this word appears in those paragraphs of add copy style, it will be automatically changing its appearance to whatever the highlight character is defined as. So if I click OK, you can see the style change here everywhere the Dorset is appearing. So if I don't like the highlight style, I can always go back and edit that. Right click here, edit highlighting. I can change the basic character to maybe italics or maybe bold. I can also change the color and we'll set it to cyan, so just it harmonizes with the drop cap. So if I now click OK, you can see the update has been made to all the pages. The Dorset is now made bold, underlined, and with cyan color as well. So just to show you that if I start typing Dorset once in that here in the paragraph, let's say door set, and it will immediately apply the character style. And of course, you can have as many grep nested into a paragraph style using various character styles. And now we have achieved a full automated combination of object paragraph and character styles. These techniques are very important, so if it is a little bit too difficult, make sure you practice it unless you get the sense of it. And you can do that on your own, and feel free to experiment with other features of each of these styles. Once you get used to working with styles, you will see that you used them for everything. That means you will have your document ended up with loads of them. Now at that point, it becomes very important to start organizing them, and there's a couple of techniques to do. First of all, you can start by naming your styles, very important. And if you have an order in which you can see these styles, like in our case, like our heading, and then move to intro copy and then the copy, you might want to add in the name of these styles, a number. Go to edit and just give one dash heading, intro copy as 2 dash copy, and copy as the same way 3. Also, I can drag these styles up and change the sequence. Like so. Helps me again to see the order, and if I have a different formatting of for different articles maybe, or different destination, I could even put these in a group so I can keep them stored away in a folder. So clicking on this icon, the paragraph styles, will give me a style group. You select all of these, select these using hold shift, click and drag, and you put them all in one fist. You can name this as destination copy. And give OK. This way I will have, let's say, accommodation copy with a different style. I can organize them and group them together. And the same goes for the object styles and the character styles as well. But there's another really cool thing you can do. If you go into editing of any of your styles, you'll notice you'll have a shortcut to add here. Now, the only difficulty with this is that you can only use the numbers from the numpad. So if your keyboard is small, you don't have to access the numbers. If you have a bigger keyboard, just try Control Shift a number and it will come up like so. And in case you don't have this, there's another way. You can use a shortcut. I'm going to show another way. That is, let's just go to page number 1. Okay, let's just say I'll just select this word and give Control Enter, and this will come up. You can choose highlighting, and there you go. You can apply styles within the text. I could even start typing highlight, and I can find out the way in case I don't find in the list. Also, I can quickly apply something that can be used for adding any features or accessing any features from the menu, as long as I know the name. I'd like to show you that how to import styles from one document into another. So I'll just create new document, Control N. I'll create a fresh document. Now I see here I have no character file styles or any other styles. I need to find that files in which I save the file styles. I can just go here, character styles, load character styles, say, this files and give open. It'll ask me which one I want to import. I can choose all of these. Basic I don't need to. Now along with the character styles, paragraph styles will also appear. So if I then click OK, you'll see all your paragraph styles and the character styles in here. Of course the naming will be kept the same. The only thing won't be same is the order in the group. So it's not really that relevant because it technically doesn't make any difference, but the problem is by using the old text style imports, you actually don't import the object style. So to be able to get that, you have to do it separately. Go to the object styles and load object styles and choose the style, same folder again. And then I don't need this basic text frame and this because these are default options, and give OK. So I get back my object styles as well. Now let's just say I use a text type tool and fill it with some placeholder text. Go to type, the placeholder text. Maybe I'll just make this heading. Bring down the font to, so click here, Control A, font 12 points, bring it down, type placeholder text. Okay, this seems fine. So maybe dividing this paragraph will be working well. Maybe just here one more, divide this. Okay, just remove this one and this one as well. So if I have this frame selected, as you remember from our previous example, if I choose destination frame folder, I will get everything that is automatically updated in my character. Here maybe I'm not able to get this font here. Save as. Okay, there's a missing text font, and of course I can just increase and decrease this, and the formatting will follow along. Now we'll be learning about how to handle assets, where I'll show you even faster way to move multiple styles, including character, paragraph, and object styles from one document to another. But the technique I showed you here is still relevant, and it is important to know how to move styles between documents. So that's all about the styles, and we will be learning about the advanced features in the next chapter.